Well, good morning and welcome to Prepping for Prosperity. How are you all today? You need to get ready for a recession. Now, people have talked about this for a while. We are already actually in a recession, but because of the way the numbers have been skewed, jobs numbers, inflation numbers, and things like that, the powers that be have been able to camouflage it and claim that we're not yet, but we have been for a while. But it's getting to the point they're not going to be able to hide it pretty soon, and then things are going to start getting worse. A couple of things that I'll hit on. We'll talk about that in a minute. A couple of things that I want to hit on before we do that. Just throw in some stuff here for you all to consider. One on Warren Buffett, and that's what made me think about doing this one today. I had another one on the books that I was going to do. He has just sold over $13 billion in stocks, which is not that he doesn't sell, but Buffett is a buyer and a holder, and it's rather rare when he sells that much in the first quarter of a year, and the smart folks are looking at that and saying, Buffett sees a recession coming. Buffett, you can't get much better than Buffett when it comes to foreseeing what's going on with the economy. He doesn't do it out of ego, and his partner, meaning his business partner, not his romantic partner, his business partner, Charlie Munger, is the same way. These guys are, Buffett is 92 or something like that. Munger's 99. These guys are still going whole hog. And they are some of the smartest ones around. They are not the ones that you'll see, yelling and screaming about this is coming, that's coming. They look long term, and that's really what prosperity is about. It is long term. So he's a great indicator that a recession is coming, and we'll talk about what to do about that. A couple of things to throw in that I just put up. I just put up an article on the Patreon page. Again, for those of you who are not on our Patreon page, the reason that I have that is so that I can post additional information, additional to what I put up here on YouTube, news articles, videos from other people in economics and the financial sector for you to learn from you to touch base. It's kind of like your own financial resource that you can go to, and they're the things that I see that I think I would like you all to know about and keep in mind as you're dealing with the current economics, excuse me, and planning your financial prosperity. So one of the things that I put up was an article by a young lady, a young woman, who explained how, and this goes to credit. Credit is so important. Good credit is important. And explains how she, when she got out of college and got a job, she took out a $2,000 personal loan that she didn't need, stuck it in the bank, made payments on it out of that money, and that resulted in her credit from going to good to very good. Okay. Now, there will be those naysayers, Dave Ramsey included. Stop with it. Dave has some good advice, but Dave is really for those who have, he's not for the thinkers. I don't mean to keep slamming on Ramsey, but every time I hear him, he's saying something that I just want to go, oh my gosh. Dave isn't for the thinkers. He's for the people who have gotten in horrible financial messes and just like he did and need help getting out. Okay, so he's for those who don't have discipline themselves. Okay, for those who do have discipline, get out of that and get into thinking for yourself. So here's where credit, it works well, and what got me on that tangent was some people will say, oh yeah, but she paid interest on that money. That's right. She bought a higher credit rating. Do you understand how that works? By taking a small loan, making consistent on-time payments on it, and I'll guarantee you, she paid very little interest. If she paid, I don't even want to say, but it's a very small amount. A very small amount of interest. Over the period of her paying that back, she was building credit, which she understood was important. And when her loan was paid off, she now had a very good credit score, which returns to her in money when she needs to buy a house, okay? When she needs finance a car, okay? Her interest rate is going to be a lot lower than the person with no credit. So see, for a little money, she saved herself a lot of money later on. Does that make sense? Okay. So that's one. I put that article. It's a cool article. It's good for you to read, to refer to, and maybe to send to friends, because when you go there, you can see those. You can copy the video, the links, whatever. Send them to friends that you think might need to know, because everybody should be helping each other in this. If you have somebody that's not as financially sophisticated as you, or maybe in the same situation as you are, help them out. Send it to them. Another thing, guys, be careful of gold. Well, I'm not going to go into a whole thing, because every time I do, I've talked about this before, but now I see more and more gold commercials coming up. William Devane is back. Did you know there are only over 300 companies that are trying to hawk gold to you? Okay. Have you ever wondered, when you look at these things, that they want to sell you an ounce of gold for a lot more than the daily price of gold? Okay. This is how they make their money. Okay. And just recently they're saying gold is back up to its highest level ever. Well, it's in there. Depending on what day you check it, it might be a little bit. It might be there, it might be lower, but gold is a commodity. It goes up and down. And it can go down, and it has gone down many times in gold's history. And besides that, and gold, the price of gold, is driven by how many people are buying it. Okay, remember that. So that if they can get more people to buy gold, the price goes up. Do you want to be a part of making the price go up? The time to buy anything is not when it's at its historical high. But these commercials, they will come on and tell you, gold is at its historical high. It's time to buy. No, it's not. You don't buy things when they're high. You buy things when they're low. Yes, but it's going to go higher and higher. They can't assure that. Come on. Okay, now, recession. There's different ways to look at a recession. The traditional measurement of recession is 2 consecutive quarters of negative growth. And then there's a saying that when your neighbor loses his job, it's a recession. When you lose yours, it's a depression, right? That's cute. But it's real. It's reality. So we're coming into a recession. They're playing with these phony numbers about employment is high, unemployment is low, neither of which reflects the reality. The unemployment numbers are low because of all the people who are not looking for jobs. They're out there. They have been living on these COVID forbearances, on their stimulus checks, on living in mom and dad's basement, on all sorts of crazy things where they have not been productive. They're not included in the unemployment figures because they haven't been employed. Then they're not looking for a job. Okay, the jobs are not out there. If you go around different areas, now in my area here, pretty much it's still you see a lot of help wanted signs, but they're not the good jobs. They're not the good jobs, and to be honest, the employers that I'm seeing, even on the fast food and things like that, the turnover is so. The churn is so high, meaning the turnover there is so high because of the very low quality of applicants they're getting. So they may be hiring, but they may be firing that person a month later. okay, because it just didn't work out. They're horrible. My son works at a I won't name the restaurant, but one of the better, not a McDonald's, but a very upper scale fast food place. And he's telling me all the time about new people coming in and being weird and not lasting 2 weeks, a month, whatever. So we have a very low quality of applicant coming into a lot of these jobs. A lot of the people have just decided they're done. Those who were close to retirement, or those who saved well enough, or those who are self-employed. You know, I mean, I'm not figured in the job market, right? Because I have my own business as well to an extent. There I am, but not so much. So what we're seeing in this is that as we have a vast slowdown in the real economy, not the numbers. They are lying to you about the numbers, about the economic numbers. We're seeing inflation continue. And the real inflation, not the inflation that they base the numbers they want you to believe, the real inflation when it has to do with food and that kind of things. We've actually seen a little bit of reduction in fuel, but not enough to make a difference. Food is still in many cases 100% higher than it was 2 years ago. I know that because I buy food, and I mean at the grocery store. I don't mean at the restaurant. Restaurants haven't gone up. They've gone up a bunch, but not 100%. But a lot of the things that I'll buy at Aldi or Hy-Vee, they're up 100% over 2 years ago. That is crushing inflation to a person, to people who are on fixed incomes, or people who are, don't have the ability to increase their income at will, meaning those people who work for other people. And this can be crushing to the people in those situations and making it difficult for them to get out at all. And this is why it's so important to have your own businesses, to be your own financial engine. Now, in addition to this inflation, the Fed has been raising interest rates, which makes it again more difficult for people to borrow, which puts the brakes on the economy. They say that they're trying to slow down an economy by raising interest rates. The problem is it's a phony economy. The economy that we're seeing, the boom, 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 it's phony. And it's the result of 30 years, almost, of quantitative easing, of the Fed pumping billions of dollars of phony money, ones and zeros. It's not actual money. It's purchasing power put out into the monetary system by just saying, okay, we're going to put X number of billions more dollars out there into the system. Well, what does that do? That deflates the value of the money, right? The more of something you have, the less valuable each unit within that is. That's right. So we're seeing this, and we might be coming to actually something called stagflation. I won't get into that. But the whole thing is that times will soon be getting worse. We're coming to the end of we came to the end of the moratorium for mortgage forbearance and rent forbearance. And although that stopped some time back, it takes a lot to evict people. And those people who were, not paying their mortgages, not paying their rent, in some places it takes a year to get them out. In my area, if somebody stops paying their house payment or their rent, it takes them a year to get them out. I mean, that's strange, but it is. But a lot of these people, they didn't pay when they were on these forbearances. And then when the forbearance ran out, they still haven't paid. And a lot of people are getting ready to lose their houses. You don't hear about this, but you're going to see it fairly soon. On top of that, we're seeing the Title 42 about to expire tomorrow, and that is that's the immigration situation, We have 15,000 people apparently waiting at the border, ready to flood into our country tomorrow, unvetted, don't know who they are, and apparently 80,000 more coming behind them. The effect that's going to have on our economy is, I'll just call it drastic. The lesson for all of this is, remember, you have to be the one responsible for your economic stability. You have to be the one, and you have to find more ways to make more money. We've talked about that in the past. I've given a lot of ideas. A lot of you have great ideas out there. Now is the time. It's going to be tougher. I'll be honest with you. It's going to be tougher to start a new business here if it takes a lot of money to start it. But I have never suggested that people go into debt to start a business. The best business to have is the one you can start with next to nothing. I've done it time after time after time. A little bit, make the smallest investment. If you have to invest in equipment or supplies or something like that. I mean, I know people, and I've talked about this before in these craft shows that we go to. People are making money hand over fist with things they started out with, just craft, just making things themselves. They take some of that money, they go have a nice dinner, they put the rest of the money back into more supplies so they have more to sell at the next one. This is how it's done. Step by step by step. Build that up. But this is how you inoculate yourself against a bad economy, and a bad economy is coming. So do that. So remember what I said. What Buffett did, selling $13 billion, is something to pay attention to. The young lady who took that personal loan to increase her credit to save her money in the future, wonderful move. If you've got, and if you don't have credit, that is a must. And if you don't have good credit, if you've got poor credit, it's important that you start improving it now. Okay, and remember, they're trying to increase the price of gold by selling it to you, which makes it look like the price of gold is going up. It just means that their marketing is doing very well, getting more people to buy it, and therefore driving the price up. Don't buy stuff when it's high. Buy it when it's low. And remember that food is always one of your best investments and one of your best hedges against inflation. So you all have a good day. Remember that your prosperity is in your hands. Be smart. Think, understand what you're doing, and take it step by step. And I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.